Hello and welcome to Trish Rock Inspires podcast and TV show, where you will be inspired by people truly living on purpose and loving life. Perhaps your passion, your purpose, and your empowered self will be sparked into action. Enjoy this episode and please subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Hi and welcome to another episode. I'm so glad you are here. I'm Trish Rock, and of course this is Trish Rock Inspires podcast and TV show. And today I want to talk to you about clarity and change. Now, your perspective on any given topic or emotion can either be the same perspective you've had for a very long time, or it can be a changing, evolving perspective. And what this past year and couple of years actually has brought forth for us, and what the world has opened up in us, is a longing for greater alignment and change to bring that alignment about. Now, there was a couple of years there, I feel, where there are a lot of people asking for more alignment, wanting change, wanting something different, but were too stuck in a perspective of fear or an old belief of fear that gave them the perspective they couldn't change anything, right? Too much fear and too much human daily robot kind of actions, which we've all been in at some point. What the world did for so many last year, one thing that it did was to actually move people forward into the alignment they had been wanting, or into the process of change. And it wasn't always easy. You know, a lot of people lost their jobs, relationships have broken down. Lots of other things have happened. Really sad and emotional things have happened. But on some level, more people now are willing and ready to become more in alignment with who they are, so that life feels more ease, more grace, it feels better. So what is it for you? You know, what has shifted for you? And, you know, if you are still in those feelings and in those emotions of a lot of anger and a lot of fear, that is something that needs to change first, and to really, tune in and find the peace within you about the external at the moment. And we all have a different reality. We all have a different external that we see. And coming to peace with that is your first step in, making those changes. Many years ago, back in 2009, when I first decided to go on this journey and really stepping into my purpose and my mission and my message, I was in total blame and total victim mindset, and my perception of my life at that point was that I would never be happy or feel at peace while I had that environment. And I kind of bundle it all up into the same bucket of blame and anger and sadness, and, totally feeling lost and out of alignment. And of course, I didn't know back then that I was in victim mode, and I didn't know that I had all this stuff going on. I just was in total blame of everything on the external, not being enough to make me happy. And so, you know, I packed up and sold my business, my home. I moved state to somewhere where I didn't know anyone. I started again. And, you know, it only kind of hit me a couple of years after that that wasn't the answer, because I still had all those feelings inside of me and I still wasn't happy, even with everything in the external totally different. And so, you know, if that is where you are at right now, there needs to be some peace. And you know, the peace comes from being in the present moment. Now, being at peace doesn't mean you have to be in acceptance of what is going on. Being at peace, it's really for you, so that you can really be clear on what it is you want to change within you, and you know, perhaps what you want to change in the external, but coming from a place of peace and presence and a perception of you know, everything external really is coming from within anyway. Coming from that perception and peace and presence, you can really make far more empowered decisions about how you feel, how you move forward in this life, and what's next for you. So that will bring you clarity. And, you know, this is, I guess, a topic that has really come up a lot. It's something I always talk about, but it's come up a lot really in the last 6 months, because to be clear on who you are and where you're going and why and how really helps you to stay in the present moment, getting out of any blame, getting out of any victim, getting out of any anger. Because your decisions then, when it's in that energy, your decisions are probably not coming from your truth. They're coming from anger or blame or victim. They're coming from somebody else's point of view about something. They're coming from fear within you. They're coming from fear. So clarity around what your perspective is in any given situation or topic will come from that peaceful place as well. And I think that's really important right now in these times, to have that clarity and to really understand whether you are acting from peace and love or from fear. And once again, you know, I'm not talking about the woo-woo kind of 60s, you know, peace and love and let's all just love each other, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the peace and the love that you feel within you. Your sense of self, your essence, which is peace and love. And when you allow those feelings to come through, when you are trying to find clarity on a situation, you will dissolve the fear and any other old feelings of remorse, regret, any of those, which are all basically fear. You will dissolve those and you'll be able to move forward from a position of clarity, truth, strength, peace, and love. The other thing that I feel is really important now and might explain, once again, I don't want to get too, you know, woo-woo, but it might just explain why a lot of this stuff is coming up for us all right now. So as we move into higher vibration, the whole planet now is in a higher vibration. And we have free will whether we want to move up into that vibration or not. Most of us are already in it, even unaware. But that higher vibration, and you can call it the fifth dimension if you want to, it's, higher as well. That higher vibrational energy of that higher dimension, you can't carry old heavy stuff into that new vibration. Those old that heavy vibration of fear, it's very difficult to drag that into a new higher vibration. And that's why a lot of it's coming up for us. Not for us to be right or wrong with other people, not to fight with other people, not to, demand that everybody sees our point of view, or, demand that, what we say is right and that's the end of the story. It's not that. It's, to be able to have that perception and that belief system and that point of view that you have, right? And also allow other people to have theirs. And, there's no fear in that. There's no fear in that. And when there's no fear, people can find a way forward. When there's no fear, people can find a way forward together. But fear puts up a big wall of resistance. I'm right and you're wrong. And that is what has created wars across all time and space. And, we're in this different energy now where that doesn't have to be the case. Certainly not with you in your reality and your inner being. You can create that peace and presence right now and be okay with everyone else's points of view. But moving to those higher vibrations, it's why this is coming up. So rather than, being angry or getting stuck in your emotions or being resistant to change, it's important to allow that to come up so that you can go, oh, well, that's interesting that that's come up. Is that something I can now clear? Is it an old perception or belief I need to shift? That's interesting that that's come up. And, that will bring you clarity rather than just getting into the emotional reaction. And so how can you do that? If something's coming up and you're trying to find clarity, you're trying to find a new point of view, or you're trying to understand your point of view on a certain topic, you're trying to understand the fear and the emotional responses that are coming up for you, and that, you want to change in some way because it doesn't feel good. How do you go about that? Well, the first thing is to ask better questions. Ask better questions. Step out of the victim and out of the blame. The questions have to come from in here. Why am I feeling like this? Why am I reacting to that? What is it within me that's resisting that? Why did that fear just come up then? Where did that old belief come from? Why have I got this perspective on this topic? And it's asking better questions directed at you. Because when I sold everything and packed up and left the state, the biggest lesson I learned was that nothing on the outside of me was there by chance. Everything in my external was showing me something that was going on in here. And the only way to change that, because running away from it all was, it was okay for a little while, but it all came back. right? Running away from it doesn't work. You will, if you don't change what's inside here, the same situations will keep happening. So asking better questions is the way here. Asking better questions of yourself. How can I change something about me to create a different result in the external? That's the first thing. The second thing is to get clear on the actual problem or the point of view. When I have clients coming to me, I say, okay, what's the issue? What led you here? And I get the story, and it's usually a combination of a whole heap of things, but underneath it all, there's the issue. There's the point of view that is holding them in existence. There is the perception that was born from a belief they took on that has now shaped their entire reality that feels out of alignment with them. So getting clear on what it actually is that you're changing is really important too. The other thing with that is if you don't have clarity on what it is that you want to change and what the point of view is that you need to change, if you don't have clarity on that, we end up doing all this personal development work and spiritual work and working on ourselves and all the stuff, but we're working on the wrong problem, right? And nothing changes. And that was my life, right? For so many years, I was working on what I thought was the problem, but I was asking the wrong questions. And when you're working on the wrong problem, when you're working on an issue that isn't really the underlying issue, you will start to feel like a failure. You will start to feel like, obviously, just nothing's ever going to help me. I'm different than everyone else. I just can't be helped or whatever. Right? You really start beating up on yourself. But the actual truth of the matter is, you just aren't clear on what the actual issue is. That's it. When you get clear on what the issue is, you can change it. So getting clear on your point of view, your issue, is very important, and that will come from asking better questions. And changing one thing absolutely will have a knock-on effect on so many areas in your life. This is something I've learned over time in many areas of my life. When I wrote my first book, and my coach is saying, well, you've got to just be known for that one thing. And I'm like, no, I can help them in so many ways. There's so many things. And I really had to get clear on that one thing. And of course, under that one thing falls everything else, right? So you're not teaching things to people, right? So it took me a while to get my head around that. But it's the same when you've got problems in your life. You want to just solve them all at once, but it just doesn't happen. Your energy is diluted. It needs to go into one. Now, all of my mentoring clients, we get to the one thing that is really the biggest belief that is creating so many of the issues. We get to that one thing and we work on that one thing. And when that one thing shifts and has changed and has transformed, even without effort, several other things automatically just shift. Because quite often, many of the issues in your life are from one core perception. You change that and you change a whole lot of different things. So refining it down to one thing doesn't mean that you're not working on everything. It just means that you're taking one bite of the elephant first, right? And working on one thing. And that will not only dissolve a few other things just automatically, but it will give you clarity and all of your energy into that one change at a time. And that makes a difference. That makes a difference. The other thing is also taking action on this. You know, when you do get clear on something that you need to change, there needs to be an action step each day to reinforce that new belief or that perception, to reinforce that new vibration that you're in. The way you think and use words and react to things when you're in a state of peace is far different than when you're in a state of fear. And it's an awareness, a daily awareness that you have to practice. And not a day goes past that I'm not experiencing fear in some way, but I don't stay in it. I return to the present and ask better questions about that fear, and then take action in peace and love. So it's those daily actions that reinforce the new perspective that you have, the new beliefs you have, the new changes that you are creating. So, you know, just putting those 4 things in place will really help you make these changes. I know for many of you listening, you have been making a lot of changes over this last 6 months in particular, and starting to feel like there's less and less resistance. And this is the letting go of that old heavy energy, that old baggage that just cannot get on the high vibe train. There is no room. Right? Go up to that high vibration. You cannot take your lower vibration with you. And as I said, this is why some of us are feeling, well, so many of us actually are feeling out of alignment in certain areas, because we are shifting our energy and we still have heaviness, old beliefs, old fears, old emotional responses that are still there that we haven't cleared yet. And they're coming to light. So take a deep breath, become present, and whatever it is for you right now, whatever you think the problem is, it probably isn't the problem. Ask better questions and find out where is the external issue in your life stemming from? Where is it coming from within here? And, you know, if you are still kind of blaming external circumstances for how you feel, then you are giving all of your power away. You know, bringing back the questions to yourself is empowering yourself, not giving your power away to the external or to, you know, that person makes me unhappy, that person makes me angry, you know, this person did this, or that situation, or that company, or that government. You've got to bring it back to you. Why do I get reactive with that? Why am I reacting? Why am I having a fear response? Why am I feeling this way about that? So get back into here, and it takes presence, it takes clarity, it takes awareness, and it takes practice. It takes a daily awareness and practice of really asking yourself, am I in my truth right now, or am I in fear of something? So I also want to just let you know about a couple of things I've got coming up that, you know, if you need help with this, will really set you on your path. And depending on what time you're watching or listening to this podcast, it may not be relevant anymore, but I do have a 5-day free challenge coming up on the 15th of March. And it's a 5-day perception challenge. And in that 5 days, I'm going to help you shift a really old, stuck perception that you have about something, whatever that is. And we're going to find what it is. Because I'm going to ask you the questions that are going to bring it out. I'm going to clarify it for you. And so this 5-day perception challenge, last time I ran it, had amazing results with people just in the first day, actually, let alone the 5 days. So if you are looking for clarity and change in your life, then come along to this challenge. I do run them all the time. So if you are listening or watching this podcast after this challenge, then please just connect onto my pages and you'll certainly see when the next one is on. But I'd highly encourage you to come along because you really will have some breakthrough with clarity in that 5 days. And the other thing that I've got coming up and starting on the 22nd of March is the Your Reality Reset 12-week group immersion course. It's online and it's running through my 5-step Your Reality Reset program in a group environment in a really supportive community. And those 12 weeks will absolutely change so many things in your life. Once again, we start with one thing, but it will absolutely have a knock-on effect. And in my 5-week program, we delve into parallel realities and really allow you to tune in to what you already know and have and are being within here, right? In your heart, in your essence. And we bring that forward into your reality now in this lifetime. And then we reinforce it, we practice it, and it becomes you. It's very powerful. So that's a 12-week group immersion, and we start on the 22nd of March. And the 5-day challenge starts on the 15th of March. So all the details for that, if you're interested, are all in the description. And if you're watching or listening to this after those dates, then connect with me because, there'll definitely be more coming up. Okay. So what will you get clear on today? What will you get clear on today? What questions will you ask yourself today that are different than what you have been asking? Remember to be present each day. Practice something each day that brings you into the present moment. And tune into your heart. Find that peace within you and make decisions from that space. And just that one action will change your day. Thanks for listening to this episode, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to another inspiring episode of Trish Rock Inspires podcast and TV show. I am a psychic, spiritual guide and a transformation mentor, and you can find me at trishrock.com. You can find all the episodes of Trish Rock TV over on our Facebook page, and if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please apply for a media kit at trishrock.com. See you next time.